So I feel like, so you might have a little insight on this. Do you feel like there's some kind of stigma in the truck world that like, if you don't have a diesel, it's just not good enough? Do you hate that? Because
Oh
I
my
hate that.
gosh. I hate that. I will say, because people are like, oh, you must love the new truck. And I'm like, no, I love my gasser. I
Yeah.
love it so much. It's so easy to learn on. I think it's cheaper to maintain and work on, and it can still look just as good.
I got $500 in cash in case they don't.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the LB Motorsports Podcast. I have with me today, Allie. What's your last name, Allie? Carpenter?
My last name's Carpenter.
Okay.
Like the job, yeah.
Look at that photographic memory. I knew I saw it somewhere. Allie, Chevy 22.
22.99.
99. Man, I was close.
Kind of close.
Well, that would make sense because it's a 99 Chevy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and the other one's the O2.
Yep.
They're both old.
Yep, that makes
I
sense.
like my old trucks.
So I'm super excited to have you on the podcast today because, girl, let me tell you, I feel like you are it. You are like coming up as when it comes to truck girls. I've been like in this crazy little truck automotive social media space for like 8 or 9 years now. And I feel like I can kind of see when someone's in it for like the long game. You know what I mean?
I'm trying.
And that's you.
Girl, I'm trying.
I can tell. I love it.
Yeah, no, I've been in it for, I think I've actually been putting in most of the effort the last 2 years. I've been in like the truck scene, I guess, for about 4, but I didn't really get into social media for a while because it's a big step. You're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of nerve-wracking at first.
Definitely nerve-wracking. Well, I feel like you just jumped in and like you're doing the damn thing.
I'm trying. Oh my gosh, it's hard.
It is.
It's a second job. That's what I tell people, especially with the brand now. It's like I get home from work and I'm working again.
Yep, it's like you have 3 jobs really with social media, your brand, and then I want to know a little bit more about you, like where you're from and what do you do? What is your daytime job like outside of social media?
Yeah, so I am from Oregon. I'm all the way on the other side of the country from most people in most of the truck scene. It's not as big out here. But I am actually I work with a general contractor in commercial construction.
Baddie.
Yeah, so if
That's
it
awesome.
fits the last name of Carpenter, it works.
That is awesome. So how do you feel like you've made connections with people across the country since you are kind of isolated? You said it's not as big
my
out
gosh,
there.
yeah.
Like, has that been
Yeah.
a really big deal for you?
It's definitely been a bit more difficult to meet other people that not only like the truck scene, but also get into it at this stage of like the shows and, you know, wanting the big shiny wheels and all that stuff. A lot of people don't understand that, out here at least. And so I, with this last year, have been able to fly more places, and also just social media is a great way to meet people. Although most of the people on social media I've never met in real life.
Like us.
I know, which hopefully in Texas
Yes.
at Lone Star Throwdown we can finally meet up.
I'm excited. So you're flying out to that show, right, at the end of the month?
Yes,
Heck yeah.
I'm so excited for
so
it. I
pumped.
need that break.
So that is like kind of just like me. Like when I first started all the social media stuff, it was kind of by accident, but I'm like, oh, there's other girls that are into this stuff. You know, I had like my guy friends that were into it, and all my friends were always supportive. They thought it was cute, but we just weren't really like connecting on that level, you know? So when I got social media, I'm like, there's seriously other girls that are into this as deep as I am. And I feel like that, just like you, like I started traveling and making connections, and it just grew from there.
Yeah, no, I mean, social media is, I would say, the main reason I'm where I am today and have what I have. It's been really great. I mean, there's, of course, the downside moments, but it's been so nice to meet people that have the same, I guess, love and passion for this industry.
Definitely. So that's kind of like what you've based your whole brand around, really, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I guess I've kind of floated around into a good amount of different groups, and I never really felt like I found one that I truly loved. Everyone in all those groups was great, but I just decided, I wanted to make something where there wasn't any requirements to join. You didn't have to have the nicest build. You didn't have to pay an entry fee. You could just have like a stock truck, car, built one. It doesn't matter. So I just wanted to be able to create a space where people could connect and especially find friends that are in their state. Because even for me right now, it's still hard to find people sometimes in Oregon, and social media can really help with that. So, and it's grown a lot more than I expected ever.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
That is awesome. So where do you have like a Facebook group that you mostly host all of that on?
Yeah, so I say we as if there's more than just me.
I do the same thing.
I know, I'm like we as if there's more than one person running this.
Manifesting, girl, manifesting.
I know.
You're going to have a team one day.
I would love to at some point. Love construction, but I love the truck stuff a lot more. But I started an Instagram page. It's called lead_by_example_co. And that was a great spot. And then after a while, I just felt like people still couldn't connect as well as I would like. So that's why I recently created the Facebook group so that people could talk more directly to each other on all the posts.
That's
and
super
also
cool.
just make their own posts about little things, which has been really cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Facebook is popping these days.
I know. I still struggle with Facebook.
Me too, girl. Me too.
I cannot understand how to work it half the time and have to ask people for help.
Me too. I feel like I went in reverse. Like I used to be like, okay, Facebook is my jam. And now I'm like, I don't know how to work this thing.
Yeah, no, even setting up the group, I was like, I don't know how to do this. And I had to get some YouTubes to help with that and figure it all out.
Hey,
but we're here.
YouTube certified at everything, right?
I love YouTube. YouTube has built my truck.
I was going to say, so you have kind of, taught yourself basically everything that you do to your truck. And how has that journey been?
It's been difficult, I will say, especially at the beginning. So my parents didn't really get into this stuff at all. They don't really understand it. They're pharmacists.
That's mine
so
too.
It's not like I had a background of like trucks or growing up around mechanics. But in high school, late high school, I was like, man, trucks look kind of interesting. And so I just started to learn through mainly like forums and YouTube and such. And since there, I just bought the 99 Chevy when I was 19. I bought that one pretty much blind, and I luckily got a good deal, and it's been pretty good to me so far. But everything on that truck was pretty much built on learning from YouTube and forums, of course.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's had its moments. There's been a lot of frustration, but mostly it's just been trying and trying it again until it's fixed.
So do you ever foresee yourself making your own YouTube videos to like teach other people?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's probably the time for it, right?
I mean, want to.
Yeah, you're busy.
Another thing I don't really know how to work. And it's just one of those things where I kind of like, I'm like, oh, that's something I need to learn, but I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
But I should, because people ask me to do that and make, especially like tutorials. But in the same moment, I'm like, you guys, I still don't know what I'm doing. If I made a tutorial, I'd probably still mess up in it.
Girl, that's me too.
Because I'm watching YouTube at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm making a YouTube video when I'm learning from YouTube. That makes no sense.
Yeah. Hey, it might make people feel more comfortable though.
Yeah, it's on the to-do list. I'm hoping to do that this year.
Yeah, that's super cool. Heck yeah. So do you feel like you give a lot of advice to, it's not even just girls in your group now, right? It's you've opened it up to everyone.
Girls and guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it started as a girls group at first, and then I was like, no, I want to be able to have, anyone be able to join. And I will say it's still like 80% girls.
Yeah.
But we have some guys in there, which is great.
That is awesome.
So it's been really cool to kind of help people as much as I can, even though some of the more mechanic-y motor stuff I don't really know, but help them mainly just build the confidence to start this type of stuff it's been really nice.
Yeah, because that's like the main thing. I just feel like, especially females for sure, I'm sure it's a lot of the same for men, but like they're just scared to start because people make them feel dumb. And I am no mechanic, even though people think that I am, or I can do little things here and there. But, I don't know, people just, like you said, they need that confidence and that support group, really.
It's totally just a mental barrier at first, and especially if you don't have a good support group, which I didn't really have when I grew up starting this stuff, is that I was just kind of figuring it out and was like, is this right? Should I give up? This is really difficult. And that's another reason why I created Lead by Example, was trying to kind of help those learners and everyone, even the people that barely know how to change a tire. Like, I want to be able to show, like, hey, there is people out here that'll support you through that, and you're not dumb. You're just learning a little bit later, which is totally fine.
I love that. That's so awesome. So your half-ton Chevy is kind of what started everything, right? And then recently you got a diesel.
Recently I made a bad financial decision,
I support
and I got a Duramax. I sometimes I support it, and sometimes I'm like, why did you do this to yourself?
I totally understand.
But, yeah, a lot of people ask me why I got it, and at first I joked around about, I'm going to make it a tow pig, but I don't know how to haul a trailer. I don't have a trailer. I live in an apartment complex. Like, I don't really have a place to put that. But mainly, I just wanted to learn about diesels, and also having a matching truck, fun. That was the main reason I really wanted that one. I was like, it matches.
Yes.
I have to get it.
Gotta have it.
And it worked out.
Yeah, for sure. So how has that been like? Have you learned anything new on it yet, or is it still just kind of in the early stages?
Yes. So it's been a learning curve for sure. I don't know why when I first got it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fix it up so fast and it's going to look so good because I have all this knowledge, which I don't. I still don't know much about diesels. And also because it's California emissions LB7, some of the parts that I'm putting onto it, the stock normal parts don't fit it because you need like the special emissions version.
Oh, Didn't know that. I would not have known that.
Yeah. So I've done like a couple little things, but just haven't had a ton of time yet to really devote to it. And also it's been just raining and icy and gross here in Oregon. So I haven't been really wanting to get out there that much.
True. So I feel like, you might have a little insight on this. Do you feel like there's some kind of stigma in the truck world that like, if you don't have a diesel, it's just not good enough? Do you hate that? Because I hate that.
I hate that. I will say, because people are like, oh, you must love the new truck. And I'm like, no, I love my gasser.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's so easy to learn on. I think it's cheaper to maintain and work on, and it can still look just as good.
Definitely. They definitely can. I mean, it does, in my opinion. And I was
It looks good. It's a 10 feet away. It looks good. Don't get too close.
I mean, hey, it looks great on camera, and that's what really matters, right? But I feel like it was the opposite. Like, I'm just now learning about the gas trucks, like how cheap it is to build an LS, like build up the motor. I'm like, man, I should have started with this because this is so much easier. So you started
with diesels at first?
Yeah, because really in my hometown, like that's what everybody who was into trucks was into, and they used them to haul and like farm and all of that. So that's kind of where I started. And I'm like, man, I feel like I would have had a lot more fun like learning things with a gas truck first. Yeah.
I think it can give you a really good basis of like understanding a truck in general and just a motor or just vehicles in general. It'll help you kind of learn the basics to then apply to a diesel.
Definitely.
I know some people want to start with a diesel, which is totally fine. I wanted to initially, but I couldn't afford it.
I was going to say, they're so expensive.
No regrets, though.
Right, yeah.
They are. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's why I really don't like when people act like, the diesels are so above, because it's like, not everyone can start with that.
And that's one thing with my brand is that I've told people, like, when they're like, oh, can I join if I only have, a car or a Tahoe or whatever? And I'm like, yeah. That's great. You don't need to have a truck to kind of start to get into this stuff. You don't need the best and nicest truck. If it could be something that's half rotted out, I don't care. It could have, 300,000 miles. As long as you're learning on it.
I love that.
You're doing great.
I love that. That's what the world needs more of. The truck industry, the automotive industry.
I'm trying. Yes. I'm trying my best.
That's what they need more of, for sure.
So I do want to ask, I did see on your Instagram that you got a new vehicle.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, if you want to.
Yes, so I want to learn.
Actually, you will like this, and it goes off of kind of what we were just talking about. So it's a Chevy C50, like a medium duty truck, but it's on a 2007 half-ton Chevy frame with the motor and transmission of that.
What?
Yeah, so it's basically like the body just set down on that truck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm stoked about that because
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is so cool, actually.
Yeah, someone had just actually replied to my Snapchat. They're like, a 6-lug C50, that's really weird. And I'm like, because there's a secret under there.
They caught it.
But,
what are you going to do with it? What's the plan? Do you know?
Honestly, it drives really good. I think I'm going to just drive it every day. Yeah.
That's what I said though about the Duramax, and it didn't really work out.
I feel you.
But I like that thought.
I think I say that about everything.
Yeah. It's really hard to kind of like not start to tear apart a truck, but it's really good when you can, enjoy it as is.
That's
and
a
that thing
fact.
looks so fun
Thank
already.
you. And it's not perfect by any means, but that's kind of what I want. Like something that just, I might patina it even and just kind of leave it rusty and all that. I think that'd be cool.
I love that look.
Yeah.
I know everyone loves to do a fresh coat of paint, which also looks great, but patina, it just looks so good.
It hits.
And of course it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's the whole reason about it.
That's what I love about it. I love patina with some shiny wheels. That's a vibe.
Okay, wait. So are you more into the shiny or the blacked out versions? I was just having a debate about this with someone else. Wheels and just the entire look.
I think it depends. So for me, I don't like polished wheels anymore. It's mainly the maintenance though. So that's why if you notice, I almost always powder coat my wheels just a solid color. Yeah. Because I'm just like, man, it's easy. You just wipe them down. But I really like a blacked out look, to be honest. But your truck looks good though, with the new chrome and all the color match.
That's the thing. I tried the blacked out look, and I did like it. It looked more aggressive, I guess. But then once I started to get into the shiny stuff, I was like, wait, I'm obsessed with this now.
I feel like you go through phases, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What do you foresee the Duramax build direction going? Like, if, even years down the line, maybe not.
Oh, I can talk about that. We already have some things happening. So when I first bought it, I told myself that I would just keep it leveled, which is what it's at right now, and that was it. I was just going to level it and maintain it and whatever. I already have a lift kit for it. Ooh. So that's sitting in my living room right now.
Have you told anybody that?
I have kind of hinted at it.
I have not seen that.
A little bit on like my lives. I've kind of been like, "Whoa, look at those boxes. Yeah. What do you think they are?" But I haven't really talked too much about it. And then I do, it's just I love my taller trucks, and I love them when they have wide and shiny wheels. And so that's what we're doing with it. We're gonna just make it a bigger, better version, and then down the road I want to really do like powder and a new coat of paint.
I'll let you girl
on this one. I know. Oh my gosh.
Let me know. I'll hook you
I just want to. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'll bring it out there. I don't care. I'll get that down there.
Heck yeah.
But I don't know. I just want to start to get more into the showier sides with this one, as much as it's still going to be a budget build. I love my budget build. It's going to still be built on eBay and everything like that.
Girl, I love eBay.
I know. Yeah, you do.
There's everything there.
Oh, I love eBay. I'm
Motors.
not allowed on there. There in Facebook Marketplace, I can't go on it because I always buy something. It's horrible.
I'm telling you, that's what happened with the new truck.
Worth it.
Worth it.
You know what? It's worth it.
That's what Zach will be scrolling at night, and I'm like, I can't even look over there because I'll be trying to figure out how to sell a kidney if I see a good deal. Like, I could not even look at it.
Yeah, I'll find a truck on there, and I'm like, oh, but it's cute, and I'll get like emotionally attached to something I've never even seen in person yet. This truck could be horrible, but I'm like, it's cute. Yes. I want it. Yeah.
I feel you on that.
It's got some plans. I really want to, as much as I want to make the gasser version, I want to make that truck a show truck a little bit more. I really want to do this one right, the Duramax, and just kind of put my time into it and, make it look really good.
That'd be awesome. So will that maybe not so much be a daily driver, but more reserved for like shows and stuff like that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't daily drive either of my trucks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have a car. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, man, tall and wide again, that just is so inconvenient to drive.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I sometimes when I'm, like, really feeling sad about driving my car and I really want to be flashy, I drive the red truck, but then I try to park it or, like, take a turn, and I'm like, I hate this. Yep. I want to be back in my little Ford Escort.
Like, I want to go through the drive-thru.
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely want to make that one another just tall and wide truck, and I want to really incorporate also just like businesses I can get to know or already know, especially like small businesses and stuff like that, and see where it goes.
That'd be awesome. So what are the companies right now that you're working with for that truck?
So far, TSO has joined it. I have my local window tinter, Excel. They are the best.
I saw you installing some window tint.
Yes.
That was cool.
Honestly, it was kind of a lie because I messed it up immediately. And I'm like, you guys, I don't know what I'm doing. They had to just coach me the entire way. So they've done the tint on there, and they actually also do wraps. So I've been kind of debating that. I don't know. Yeah, and then also custom offsets has been brought into it, and I'm just trying to get whoever wants to join. I'm happy to have them on board.
That is awesome. Well, I'm stoked to see the build and see it finished, and maybe at some shows.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to so badly. It's so hard to go to any of the shows.
Girl, just the
and I can't bring
commute.
my truck.
Yeah, I was going to say just the commute, even from like where I've lived, either Missouri or Texas, is insane. I can't imagine Oregon to all of these shows.
Yeah. No, everyone's always like, oh, you're going to bring your truck? And I'm like, you guys.
You're like, girl, that's like a 40-hour drive.
Money.
Yeah, it's thousands of dollars in just fuel, you know?
It's so much.
And then you'd have you'd have your time off from work, and it would just, that would be a lot. So.
Yeah, I'm already using up pretty much all my PTO for all the truck shows. So I'm like, you guys can't really do that. Sorry. Love you guys, but I can't. And so I go to the shows and I'm like, hey, I also own a truck, you guys. I also am in the truck scene. I swear, I just don't have it here. And no one's really seen it. It's real, I swear.
It's like that meme where the like party and the guy's in the corner and he's like, they don't even know I own a truck too, or something like that.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I really want to bring it to a show so people can finally see it. Barely anyone has honestly seen it other than people that are within a 2-hour radius of me. But who knows if that'll happen this year, if not next year.
Yeah, heck yeah. So, speaking of maybe, some connections that you've made in the truck industry, do you know what I'm going to ask?
I think I might know.
You are booed up now, girl.
I am booed up now. It's crazy. Yes. So, for those that don't know, I am with Joey Rose. He also goes by Doughboy. He's got a 3rd gen and a 4th gen. And we actually met through, not surprising, the truck shows. We actually met for the first time at Music City Showdown, and it just kind of went from there.
That is awesome. That's exactly how me and Zach met, too, at a truck show.
Really?
Love that.
Yeah, we had had each other on social media for a while before that, and I went to the show, and it was my first one, already overwhelming, but I saw his truck, and so I texted him like, hey, I'm in front of your truck, come say hi. And little did I know that he actually had walked by me the first time. He was so nervous to come up to me, and then finally came up, and he was mute. He barely talked to me, but I know, because he was so nervous, and I get it, and I think it's so sweet. And
that's precious.
Just from there, we just kind of were stuck to each other, and then we went to Smoky Mountain Truck Show together, and we're going to be at Lone Star Throwdown together and a lot of other shows this year.
Awesome. Heck yeah. So where does he live?
He lives in Ohio.
Ohio's good for the truck scene.
Yeah, I know. Ooh. I know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I already want to move into the Midwest area, and we'll see.
It might be in the cards. Everything happens for a reason.
It could be in the cards. You know what? He has a gooseneck trailer. He can haul me around. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit there.
The passenger princess with the trucks on the trailer. Let's go.
Yeah. I love it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that's been going really, really well, and I'm really glad that I met him. And actually, we kept it a secret for a while from social media until I was able to officially go out there and see him in Ohio about a month ago now. Yeah. And then we kind of released it, and everyone was like, oh, we had no idea. We were just keeping it secret.
That's awesome.
Social media kind of can ruin things at points, and we wanted to kind of let it grow
for sure.
Releasing it.
Sometimes keeping things a little more private, even though that's probably hard. I mean, it was maybe a little easier with you guys being long distance, but when your whole life is on social media, that's got to be hard.
Yeah, it definitely has been. And we always joke about it. We're always like, oh, we just really want to be like the Walmart version of Lacey and Zach, because we're like, oh my gosh, we love what they do. And, you run your brand, and I've started mine and all that stuff, and he wants to get more into that stuff as well.
How cool.
So
that's freaking awesome. Well, I'm honored.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So, very excited to see him a little bit more.
Yeah. So you had shared on your story that you're going to be on the podcast, and I posted it and asked if people had any questions that they wanted to ask you, and they asked some pretty good ones. So I think that's going to start up some good conversation.
I'm very excited.
And it's from the girlies because they're the best.
They're going to be good questions.
So let's see. as soon as I, can work my phone. I should have just screenshotted them or something, but it's as real as it gets, right?
I had actually a lot of people swipe up when I posted that I was going to be on this podcast. Awesome. And they're like, oh my gosh, my 2 favorite people. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I love that. Well, what's crazy, just so the listeners know, I hopped in Allie's TikTok live and I was just like, hey girl, what's up? And she was saying that she was watching the podcast. Well, what did you say? You said it was comforting or something?
I listened to it often at work, and I had been listening to it earlier that day when I was like walking around Costco, and it was just really nice. I love listening to it. It makes time go by faster, and it's really interesting.
That makes my heart flutter because which I don't know, that might sound dumb, but I do that with podcasts and stuff of people like Tana Mojo, even though she's a whole hot mess. Do you know who that is? Girl, I love Tana.
I love her. Brittany Broski's podcast. I listen to all of them.
Love them.
I am addicted. If anyone needs other podcasts,
yes,
those two are great.
They just have no cares, and I love that. So I listen to them.
They're so funny.
Yeah. I'm not funny, but it's like
yes, you are. Don't
comforting.
Even.
I'm like, okay, I'll take that. Let's see. I talk too much on my stories, I guess. Okay. All right. Let's see.
Oh, I do too. Don't worry.
Let's see. Oh, okay. This is a good one. I'm interested in this one, girl. We could talk a lot about this.
Whoa.
How do you deal with backlash from men in the industry?
Oh,
I know.
Ooh, this is a good one. Oh my gosh. Okay, so first off, I want to say that there's backlash. I deal with it in 2 places. I deal with it, of course, within the truck industry, but I also deal with it in construction.
True.
So I'm as bad as it is to say, I'm very used to it. It doesn't really affect me much anymore. Usually it's just people portraying their own insecurities or other things that they're going through that they just can't seem to work through. And so usually when people are being mean, I brush it off, or sometimes I just delete the comment. As much as it's like in the moment you're like, oh, I want to fight this person, I want to, show them that I'm right. It doesn't really do much for you at all to feed into it. It just makes you feel worse and worse as it continues. So usually I just delete and move on with my day.
That's good. I need to take that note because sometimes I'd be back on there like, listen, but you're right.
I do. There are some that really get to me.
Yes, it really is like when you put into consideration that it's people just reflecting their own insecurities onto you and like it's something they're dealing with. It kind of makes it a little better. Doesn't make it okay, but
yeah. Yeah, no, and that's the thing that I unfortunately have to say to a lot of people is that as you continue to grow within these industries, you're going to get a lot of love and you're also going to get a good amount of hate. And you're going to have to kind of get to a place, mainly it's just a mental mindset of, you're okay to deal with that stuff and it's not going to bring you down. Because at first it totally did. Any of those comments would just ruin my day, ruin my week. Because I would listen to them and I would think they're right, which most of the time wasn't ever right.
Right. So where do you feel like what was a turning point of what would you do to kind of help yourself? I guess basically what I'm asking is what stopped you from quitting, like when you first got those comments?
I think that the main thing that stopped me, as much as those comments made me want to quit and stop what I'm doing, is the comments, especially from the females in the industry that would say, hey, like, you're really helping me feel as if I'm included. You have inspired me to start my build, stuff like that. That has made me really continue to dive in and put all of my work into this.
That's awesome. I love that. You got to do it for them.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Override the negative with the positivity.
And the thing is, I always tell people is like, as much as they're being negative, if you put your phone down and it doesn't affect your real life, it's okay. It's gonna blow over. Even if there's like drama, it's gonna go away in a couple of days and they'll move on to something else.
That's a really good point. I love that. Because you're right. If you just close your phone, a lot of times these people,
usually it's quiet.
You don't have to deal with. Yeah.
That's it.
That's so true. I love that.
And most won't say it to you in person. Even if they are face-to-face with you, most of the time, they're not going to say it in person.
Never.
They just feel as if they can say it over social media.
Yeah, that's so true. Good points. I'm going to take this advice.
Thank you.
Because, of course, it's something all of us deal with on a daily basis,
Oh, yeah. You can't escape it. As much as if you try to please everyone, you never will.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm such a people pleaser.
Me
but
too.
I've had to kind of learn that you can't. You simply can't please everyone.
You just can't. And it's crazy because let's say you could post a picture of your truck, and 50% of the comments will be like, oh my gosh, it's an amazing build. It's so beautiful. And the other 50% is, it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And it's like, it just goes to show you, people have different opinions.
You can't win.
You can't win.
Yeah. You got to just pick and choose which mean more to you and which are more beneficial, and just kind of delete the ones that aren't.
Yeah, for sure. So the next question kind of ties in with that a little bit. Velvet Foot.
Love her.
Oh my gosh. She just pinstriped your diesel, by the way, didn't she? We'll talk about her for a second.
She did.
That is awesome. So she's in the PNW area too, right? Did I say that right?
Yes, she lives like 20 minutes at most away from me.
We're
really close. We're going thrifting on Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
Like, she's a great girl.
Yeah, she's awesome. I love her. And the pinstriping looks fire.
Yes. Thank you. Well, I can't take the credit. That's all her.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Velvet Foot is, her name is Cassidy. She is a female pinstriper, and her work is just amazing. She has done both of my trucks now, and I just let her do whatever. I just give her the truck, and I'm always like, meh, do what you want, and it always turns out great.
It turned out so good. So she asked, what is the best and worst moments since doing social media / how to handle when you hit a low point, which I feel like we kind of touched on. That's a loaded question. That's a good question. So
that's a hard one.
That is hard.
Cassidy.
Maybe we start with the good one. What's your best moments since starting social media?
Okay. Best moments I feel like have been when I've gotten recognized in person. As much as it's just really fun to see that what you're doing is kind of making an impact, along with having girls, especially at the truck shows, come up and say like, you know, you're the reason why I've continued my build, or I've had the confidence to get into this stuff. That makes all of this worth it. And just all the nice messages and everything that I've gotten since beginning and continuing this.
That is awesome. I even seen a little show that I was at, which I know I tagged you, a girl wearing your shirt. I'm like, that's so cool. Here in Texas.
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. Whenever I see the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my brand. I know that one of my local friends, Miranda, took a picture with you once, and she was wearing it, and I freaked out.
It's
had a
so
fangirl
awesome.
moment.
Maybe it
I
was
was like,
her.
oh my gosh.
Was she in Texas?
Maybe it was.
At a show?
I think it might have been. It was a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think it was her. That is awesome.
Oh my gosh. I still absolutely love that picture. I just love seeing, lead by example, just kind of travel the world. And it's gone throughout most of the country and now parts of Canada
That's
as well.
so cool. I love that for you.
It's crazy. Thanks.
So, well, now the negative part of the question, but worst moments since starting social media, and how did you handle it?
I would say, of course, the hate has been something that has always been a worst moment, because it'll totally mess with your mind, especially in the beginning. I think that one thing that isn't talked about that much is your burnout. And that's something I dealt with the last about 2 months. And I would say that was something that really just weighed down on me, because I burnt myself out from the truck scene, and it made me begin to hate what I was doing as much as I didn't show it on social media. And so learning how to take a break, even though it's so addicting and it's so fun to be posting and doing all this stuff, I would beat myself down so much if I wasted a weekend not on the trucks. If I took a Saturday and I didn't do anything, I was like, oh, you just wasted an entire day. You're so lazy. So that's something that has been totally changing my mindset, and I've been trying to really work on lately, because it'll totally just make you hate what you used to love doing.
Definitely. I've kind of been in that funk lately too. I don't know if it's like which it's not really cold and wintry here, but if it's like the funk of the winter, maybe, you know?
Well, I mean, you can burn yourself out from having so much fun and doing so much stuff in summer.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I need a break.
Yeah.
And sometimes I never allowed myself that. And what I tell people is that since I started building the red truck when I was in college, and in college I had a lot of time, but I had little money. But now, as I'm full-time working, I'm running the brand, everything like that, I have money, but I do not have time. And so I would continue to burn myself out and just use fumes to try and get things done. And so that's been something that's been hard for me to get through, but I've learned how to give myself a break.
Yeah, give yourself some grace, right? Because it's pretty much like you said, you get off from your daytime job, your full-time job, and then you're doing social media and all of your truck stuff and your brand. Yeah, that's got to be exhausting.
Yeah, and it's just addicting. It's really fun. You love to, see everything do well, but you can't continue to juggle too many things because something's going to fall.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
So,
that's great advice, too. So, let's see. So I will group a couple questions together.
Let's do it.
So what is your ultimate goal 5 to 10 years down the road? Where do you want to be? I know that's a long time, right? And then
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Okay.
And then future plans for LBE. So I'm sure those tie in together, right? Yeah.
Yes, for sure. So, and like I touched on before, as much as I love my job, I love construction and everything like that, I do definitely want to get to a point, kind of like you, where this has become your job.
Yeah.
And this is what you do full time. And that's what I'm really hoping for, not only just social media in general, but for especially with the brand as it continues to grow, because it grew way faster than I expected in less than a year. And with seeing that, it makes me realize, okay, maybe I can kind of make this into my life.
Definitely.
Because, that's my real passion right there. And as much as work is great, it takes a lot more of my time that I would love to be able to spend on the brand. So
I can 100% see that happening for you.
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel
also
like
moving.
Yes, also moving to Ohio.
Also moving. I love Oregon, but oh my gosh, I need out of here.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But I feel like I see that happening for you because I really I feel like we're very similar. And I don't know, that you might be like, that's an insult, girl, but
no, oh my gosh, if you say we're similar, I love it.
I just feel like you kind of remind me of me when I first started, that I'm like, because I was the same as you. Like, I was working 90 to 100 hours a week in my salon that was complete opposite field, nothing to do with trucks, and it was kind of like you make time for what you want to make happen and what's important to you. And yeah, I just see a lot of similarities, and I can definitely see it becoming a full-time thing for you for sure.
I really want to. And the only thing that stops me is I'm not a big risk taker. I like safe, and that's a big risk. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to need some time and continue to prep myself. But that's the goal in the next, 5 to 10 years. And also have more trucks.
Heck yeah, always the goal.
Yeah. All of them. I just want all of them.
I feel like I posted something about this the other day. Like, people glorify risk taking a little too much. I think it's I think it's smart of you to still have your full-time job and do this while it's growing, because I just think people glorify dropping everything and jumping in blindly to things. I mean, sometimes you have to do that, but I just think that it's not smart, especially not in this economy.
Yeah, no, especially with the trucks and everything like that. Life is a little expensive, and, I have where I live and everything like that. As much as Lead by Example does help me out, it doesn't pay for everything. Right. And so I can't, and I don't think someone should just drop their job, even if they think everything is going well, because it could be going great, and then next month it could just slow down a lot. It happens. And that's a huge risk.
And I feel like doing both, I mean, you obviously have the work ethic to do it, and that's what makes it work. That's what makes it happen, It's like...
Yeah, I had on my live yesterday, someone was like, do you ever think you're going to have a booth at a show? And I was like, I would love that. That's also a goal for sure. It's just, I want to get my trucks to one of the shows. Yeah. That's a huge goal. And hopefully that happens in the next year or two.
That'd be awesome.
I would love to grow it to the point where I can kind of travel while making that my career.
Right, for sure. Well, you give kind of a lot of, maybe not a lot, but from what I've seen, quite a few tips on how to make money on social media.
Yeah.
You share that on TikTok and everything. I think that's awesome, because I don't have the confidence to do that. I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I should.
You should. People love to hear it. I mean, of course, everyone wants to, and that's one thing, is that everyone wants to be an influencer now, which I totally get. It's great and everything, but you have to work a lot harder to get seen and to get to a point where you can start to monetize. And so I try to help people figure out the ways to, of course, grow your following and, work with brands, but also learn how to monetize. And I'm pretty open about all of that stuff on all of my pages.
Yeah, I love that. I'm like, ooh, I'm learning something.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm learning something, I feel like I like to be able to share it to help people benefit from it.
Yeah.
And so far, it's kind of worked.
Yeah. So speaking of TikTok, I have my own question. I love your TikTok videos. I feel like they're always
Thank you.
creative, they're high quality, all of that. Where do you get your inspiration for TikTok? Is it just kind of like scrolling, doing your research, or?
I would say definitely scrolling, but I also kind of try to make my TikTok almost like a smaller YouTube platform.
Yeah.
Of showing like my personal life and showing the little progress on my trucks. And I think that's something that you do as well. Because people like a story. People like to feel that they can relate to whoever they're, watching or talking to. So I try to make it feel almost like you're on FaceTime with a friend.
I love that. That's
something of that sort.
That's the vibes for sure.
Yeah. As much as I think the trends are really fun to join in on, the trends will easily, within the first 1,000 times they've been done, everyone's bored of them.
Right.
So I try to stray a little bit from the trends as much as I do them sometimes, and do more of like learning about me, learning about my trucks, talking to the camera, even though I get very nervous at points doing that as well.
Same. It's a learning curve for sure. Well, I love your videos, and I think they're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's take a look at another. What's your biggest modification regret, if you have any? A mod to a truck.
Oh my gosh, yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
I totally do. So, I got one. Mine would be spending all of my time blacking out my truck. I did the red and black, and I totally regret it. I spent a lot of like last year doing that, and then this year changed it all up because I started putting shiny parts on there, and I was like, wait, this was regretful. So I wasted a lot of money doing that, as much as it was fun.
Yeah.
So that was a big regret for me.
It's kind of nice to have the two different looks though, right? Like the progress of both.
Yeah, it was fun to see. It definitely helped me confirm that I like the shiny way a lot more, but it was an expensive confirmation.
Yeah, that is true.
A lot of money.
Yeah,
was
that makes
spent
sense.
and lost.
Well, I didn't know if you'd have one, but you did have one. So let's see. How did you first get into the truck industry?
Ooh, that's a good one. So honestly, I don't have that good of a way. I just kind of started to notice trucks when I was driving around and stuff. And at the time, I was born and raised like a city girl. And,
really?
I was yes, I know, as much as it's not seen now. But I started to kind of get more into, I guess, the Western-y life and stuff. And so a lot of people were like, oh, you're just getting into trucks because you want that as an add-on to look like this country girl. And to me, I just always kind of had this love for mechanics, but I didn't let myself to kind of tap into it. And so when I was about 18, I was like, you know what? Let's try to learn. And so I first learned all of the different like truck generations. That was my first step. And then I began to learn a little bit more about the mechanics, and the main way I got in was with blindly buying my red truck that I still have.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So you just jumped right into it, like, oh, buying a truck, we're doing this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that I bought that the day that I was moving down for my second year of college, and I had driven it half of a block. I never got it inspected. I got it from my family mechanic, which now I know it's dumb. And I spent pretty much my entire savings as a college student on it. And I was like, well, if this works, great. If not, well, there goes all my money. And luckily it worked out.
Well, hey, that was the risk you took, though.
Yeah, and also it was a risk because that's why I continued to learn about the mechanics, because I didn't have the money to pay someone to do that stuff.
Hey, it all worked out.
I was like, either I have to do it or it sits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that. So you feel like kind of it wasn't the norm for how you grew up or where you grew up, and you just kind of stepped out of that.
I grew up in a very like hippie area, and the cool thing then was like skaters and all that stuff, and wasn't for me. And so I really always kind of liked it, but never allowed myself to get into it. And that's why I always tell people I got into it really late, and so it's okay if you as well get into it not growing up as a kid learning this stuff.
For sure.
Because I didn't know the first thing about trucks.
Yeah, me either.
Or vehicles.
Me either at all. People are like, oh, you like must have grew up in a shop, or your dad must have been a mechanic. I'm like, I don't even think my dad changes his own oil.
How did you start to learn?
Literally just always loved them. Just like you. Honestly, since a kid, though, I've always loved them. Just everyone in my town, mostly drove diesels for work mostly, but they would, kind of soup them up a little here and there. And I'm like, man, I love the sound of them. I love how they look. And it just kind of grew from there.
I think seeing like a girl driving a big truck, I was like, I want to be her.
Me too.
And so I just spent everything of my life to become that person, that random person I probably saw on the highway.
That is what my Google search at 8 years old was like, girl driving lifted truck. I'm like, yes, I want to be her.
They looked so confident. They looked like they were having such a fun time.
Yes.
Like, come on, you who doesn't love that?
And then here we are,
Here we are with them now. Financial decisions that are just,
maybe good, maybe bad decisions, but we're
a little bit of both.
living out the childhood dreams.
We're alive.
So let's see. Well, I feel like you might have sort of answered this, but what keeps you going on your hard days? I guess that's a little more general question.
Yeah, no, that works. I would say that, of course, like I touched on, of the nice comments, but I will give a lot of this credit to Joey.
Aww.
Because he does deal with me having those hard days, and I have really bad tunnel vision. So in the moment, I'm going to be like, oh, this day sucks. Like, oh, all this stuff is bad, blah, blah, blah. I feel horrible. I'm in a bad mood. And he has signed up to be able to help me with all of that stuff. And so he'll help me out when I'm feeling like that, especially with the self-doubt and when I was going through my burnout and everything like that. He pretty much had to yell at me and be like,
snap you out of it, kind of.
Take a break. You're okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to like live your actual life and not give everything you have to these stupid trucks. Let them sit.
For sure. So
it's nice that I can just kind of vent to him about, if work's bad or if the truck's having this problem or whatever it is. So I give him a good amount of that credit.
That's awesome. That's how I feel about Zach too. We got to have our rocks, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, I always explain that Joey is like kind of just like a stable person, and I'm just like literally all over the place. My emotions are all over.
That's literally me and Zach to a T.
Yeah.
He's just like, he doesn't get upset. He doesn't get sad, really happy. Honestly, he's just mellow all the time. And I'm like,
he's just mellow. Yeah, no. And I'm just like, I'm happy, and then I'm sad, and then I'm anxious, and then like all over the place.
That's me too. See, I knew we were a lot alike. I'm telling you. All right. So another question. What would be your dream build if money wasn't an option?
Oh my gosh. Now, my Chevy people are going to hate me, but I have always loved a crew cab OBS 7.3.
Ooh, girl, me too.
I love them. They're something that kind of got me into the scene. I was always like, oh, I love those trucks. I love me a good square hunk of metal.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why. And so that's definitely something I'm definitely going to be getting and building at some point.
Yes, I can't wait to see that. Everybody's got to love a good OBS, I'm telling you.
They just sound so good. They are just beautiful trucks.
Yes.
And that's a good thing about where I am. There's pretty much a lot of those rust-free, almost like daily traffic around here. So if anyone wants to get a truck, come to Oregon and Washington. There is tons of them.
So it's not like you really don't have rust where you live?
I don't have any rust pretty much. And so like to me, when I would see on TikTok about people posting about their rockers and stuff, I was like, what? Like, I don't have that. No one around here has that.
Really? So
we have with like no rust.
Even though you have snow, that doesn't...
We have like some snow, especially where I'm at, unless you go into the mountains, and even there, it's not that bad at all.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Well, then hopefully they're cheaper out there where you are.
Oh, they're way cheaper. And it's cheaper because no one understands trucks as much, along with it's going to be a better quality because there's not rust and everything like that. So
that's like when I was in California, I would see like these people with beautiful like 70s and 90s trucks. And I'm like, do you even know what you have?
You should just drive around here in people's fields. There's just tons of them all over, and that's what people drive, and no one thinks much of it.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, this hunk of junk. I'm like, that is like a $40,000 truck in Missouri. Yeah, no, especially with my the Duramax. I got that, and it doesn't really have any rust on it or anything, and it's only 161,000 miles, and I got it for a pretty good deal, and everyone over there in like the Midwest is like, oh my gosh, there's no rust, like, you're crazy, like, and I'm like, this is just normal. That is awesome.
This is what we usually find around here.
That is awesome. Well, that's one thing you might miss if you move to the Midwest, then.
Oh yeah, I'm terrified of the rust. I'm very scared for that experience.
Yes. Just bring all your clean trucks from over there to here, and hopefully you'll be fine.
I'm just gonna store them.
Yep. Just don't drive them in the winter.
Yeah, they will not be seen. They will be hidden.
So the last question we have, which I probably know what your answer is going to be, but we're just going to ask it. So a little bit of a different kind of question. What type of equipment would you consider necessities for content creating?
Ooh,
The
that
phone.
is a good one. Phone for sure. I think for me, my main one is the tripod. I have this like $10 tripod from Amazon, and it is my ride or die, especially because around here I don't really have anyone to take my pictures. So I have my tripod, and if I can recommend it, an app, it's Lens Buddy, and it'll just, you set up your phone, you press it, and it'll continue to take pictures for you every like, I think 2 seconds.
That is cool. So I always, that'll keep me from using up all my storage with setting a video up and screenshotting from a video.
Oh my gosh. And it'll also take a video while it is taking the pictures.
That is cool. Heck yeah. I'm going to get that.
And it's free.
Oh,
I'm not sponsored. I just think it's a great app.
That's a good little tip. I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I use. I really want to get more into like stabilizers and all of that stuff. And I do have a camera, but it's not very good for video quality. So tripod, that is the best thing. And maybe like a ring light.
Yeah.
Ring lights help.
Ring lights are good. The new Alex Earl light thing from TikTok, I got on that. You know what I'm talking about? The clip-on light?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Those things are good. But I feel like it's always like important for people to know they don't have to have like a whole camera set up to get started, you know?
Gosh, no.
Not at all.
I think your phone is great. Like an iPhone or Android or whatever you're using, it's great.
Yeah.
It'll do everything you need
for sure
for the moment.
And
for a while, honestly.
And honestly, like all phone videos get more engagement than professional videos most of the time, from what I've seen.
Yeah. So definitely anyone that's getting into that scene, invest in a good, nice tripod and good lighting if you need it, and you're pretty much set. Heck
yeah. Perfect. So do you have any other tips that we can close out with on social media, just overall?
I would just say, and this is something that sometimes I struggle with because it's kind of like my second job, but have fun. Just stop overthinking what you post. And a lot of people worry a lot about like the timing that they're posting and how much they're posting. And I'm like, just have fun. Spam it if you want, or do whatever you really want. It's just something to, you know, have as like a side hobby, and it's going to do fine.
Definitely. And I feel like if you love it first, then that's when it turns into more, you know?
Yeah. So less of the overthinking of, you know, is my post going to get trending or whatever. Just post it and say, oh, if it got 100 views, great.
I love that. I need to take that. We all need to take that advice more.
Yeah. I need to take it sometimes still.
So do you ever see yourself posting? I know you kind of post some lifestyle content here and there. If you get burnt out on the truck stuff, do you go more into like lifestyle content, like more girly stuff?
Yeah. I usually do. I like to post a little bit about my life and doing like, I really want to get more into the like follow me in a day thing.
I'm trying to do that right now.
Those are so fun. They're so hard to film.
They
are.
Oh my gosh. I'll be like an hour in and I'm like, shit, I forgot to film that.
Yeah. Or like OOTDs. Love those. I've tried filming them. I just like stand there. I look awkward. So I've been trying to work on that a little bit.
Same. That's one of my 2024 goals. So I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one. Yeah, I've been trying. I would love to see a day in the life from you though. That would be awesome.
I keep telling myself I need to, but then like I wake up at my normal like 5:30 and I'm like, I don't want to film.
Yeah.
I am half awake.
Yep.
I just need to get to
You're
work.
Like out the door.
I gotta go.
Yeah. For sure.
So I want to do that for sure at some point. Just to kind of, I think it's also just good to show people more about you.
Definitely.
And your life.
For sure. Make them connect a little bit more.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to highlight or touch on?
Not too much other than anyone that wants to meet me. I'll be at a couple shows this coming
list
year.
them all.
Yeah.
LST.
So, oh my gosh. Okay, wait, now I'm forgetting them all. LST, Fitzgerald.
Oh, I'll be there too.
Oh my gosh. Yay. UCC. That's in Indiana, right?
I think it's in April, maybe? No, June, maybe. Somewhere this summer.
I can't remember. And then Smoky Mountain Truck Show, and hopefully SEMA, possibly if I can make it happen.
Yeah, that'll be
I
awesome.
won't have my trucks, of course. I'll just walk around.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, I will definitely be seeing you at least half of those.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Heck yeah. All right, girl.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for chatting here with me today.
Thank you.
And y'all go
This has been
follow
great.
all of Allie's socials if you want to shout them out.
Yes, so they are Allie, ALLIE _ Chevy 99 on all platforms. And then for the brand, it is lead by example _ co on Instagram.
Heck yeah. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you, Allie, for being on.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.